Today we will do the part of the neuroanatomy that is called the reticular system. So reticular system, as the name reticular means reticulum. Reticulum means a network or a meshwork, as you have done in the physiology. Formation of the clot is also the formation of reticulum of fibrinogen, fibrin and platelet sticking to them. So you are familiar with this word reticulum. So we are again repeating in the neuroanatomy, there is a reticular system is present very well, as we have finished with the limbic system. So they are important part of the human nervous system, and mainly this reticular formation is present throughout the length of the brain stem, and its main function is the arousal or awakening. So we are awake only because of the reticular system. If this reticular system is damaged due to some disease or TT and H, that is the applied of any part of the brain, then it leads to the deranged consciousness or unconsciousness, or we go into coma, or ultimately the death. So it is a very important integral part of the nervous system, and it is made up of the reticulum means a mixture or intermingled gray matter plus white matter. Both are there. So that is from the reticulum. That fibers, they are also present, that is the axons, and studded with them is the masses or the groups of the gray matter. So that is the mixture or the intermingled gray and white matter. Wherever it is present, we use the word reticulum. And it is polysynaptic. Its connections, they are polysynaptic, means afferent and efferent fibers, they are coming and going to the almost all parts of the CNS. All parts of the CNS. And regarding its importance or the function, if we enumerate, it is concerned with the arousal phenomena or awakening. Second, as you all know, that this system, the reticular system, is also connected or controls the respiratory, cardiac and the gustatory or the gastrointestinal tract. So it influences in both inhibitory as well as the excitatory action. So it inhibits some functions and it also excitatory also. So both the responses are there. So that is called this. Then it also concerned with the controlling the tone of the muscles. So it regulates the tone of the muscle. What is tone of the muscle? Skeletal muscles in the human body, they always remain in a slight state of contraction. They are not flaccid. So that is called the tone. Slight state of contraction. So when they act, they form the full state of action. But even in the arousal or when we are awake, the muscles has got some degree of the contraction, that is called the tone. So because of its connection, so the reticular system also control the tonicity of the muscles. Then it is also modify the pain perception. So pain sensations it also influences the pain sensation. Then it also functions or connected to the autonomic nervous system. That is the sympathetic as well as the parasympathetic. So this system influences both skeletal muscles, the voluntary as well as the involuntary muscles. That is the somatic and visceral. So when we say somatic, soma means body. Soma means the body. Somatic means particular concerned with the skeletal muscles of the human body, because somatic means the human body and soma means the body, and it is made up of skeletal muscles. If we say visceral, visceral means, what is the meaning of visceral? Means viscera. Viscera means organs of the body. As liver is a viscera, lung is a viscera, heart is a viscera, brain is also the viscera. So viscera mainly contains smooth muscles, involuntary muscles, the eye, the iris, or vasomotor tone, the vessels, the artery and the vein, tunica media, M for M. So tunica media contains muscles. Which muscle? Smooth muscles. So when they smooth muscles, they are also under the effect of the reticular system. And because of that reticular system, so there is a vasodilatation and vasoconstriction as occurs during summer and winter. We know what the skin is doing. So it is automatic function. So that is come under the what is called thermoregulation. So thermoregulation is also under the influence of the reticular system. Blood maintenance of the temperature of the human body. Then it is also concerned with the emotional behavior, because of its connection to the cerebral cortex. Emotional, that is the Premji area we have done, the prefrontal cortex. So it is connected to that area also. So it has got the emotional. So it is also connected to the hypothalamus, and hypothalamus has got centers of 4S, sleep center, satiety center, I have told you, and it acts with the sexual behavior. And it is also connected to the limbic system. So limbic system, it is also connected to the hypothalamus, the septal area of the limbic system. So it is all connected to all these, and multiple fold functions are there assigned to the, that is called the reticular formation. So a long list of the functions you may assume which is performing by the reticular system in the human body. So previously this system was very poorly researched, but nowadays new researches has came, and it has been found that this is not just a reticulum or the mixture of the gray and white matter, but there are well defined nuclei are there. So new staining method of the nervous system, that is called cryostaining. It has researched that well-defined cellular composition is present in the reticular formation. So according to the staining methods, we have seen the size and the extent of the gray and white matter of these reticular formation cells. And according to them, after the research, not only by the morphology or the size and shape of the neurons of the reticular system, which are scattered in the brainstem or other parts of the CNS, the functionally there also been research that which type of the neurotransmitters they are connected. So different cells of the reticular system, they have got the different neurotransmitters. And there is another classification which is based on the presence of the which type of the neurotransmitters. So that is a separate classification. One is called the morphological classification. And another is the functional classification. So till now about 50 type of the neurotransmitters has been discovered, but research is still going on. So we may find more of them adding to the list of the neurotransmitters, as you have done in your plus 1 plus 2, the periodic table. So the periodic table is made up of metals, non-metals, noble gases, so and so. There is a different type of the discoveries are still going on. So there may be more addition in the periodic table also. Same is in the medical history. Research is going on the various type of the neurotransmitters released in the NM junctions or other synapses in the nervous system is going on. So on that basis, so we have classified these cells of the reticular system. First is the morphological, depending upon the size and shape. So it has been found there are 3 type of the cells which are constituting the reticular system, and these cells, they are well defined and they have been well separated with each other, and they are present in the whole of the brain stem. So extent of the reticular system, if we say the extent, so it is from the craniocaudal in position. So cranially it goes up to the thalamus, subthalamus and hypothalamus. Then the brainstem, and caudally downward it goes up to the spinal cord as well. That is the, but only in the upper cervical part or upper cervical segments. So that is the extent of the craniocaudal extent of the reticular formation. So 3 type of the cells are found in this extent or the columns, or what is called the zones or the columns of the reticular cells. So one of this type is called the intermediate zone or the column. So name is suggestive. So the cells, they are intermediate, not bigger, not smaller. So they are midway. That is called the intermediate group of the cells of the reticular system, and they are present in the midline of the brainstem. Because of that, they form the median raphe zone or the column. So they are the medially placed raphe zone is there. And because of their anatomical midline in position, so they are labeled as the median raphe nuclei. And if we form the second type of the cells, they are larger in size. So because of the larger size, they are called the magnocellular. magnocellular zone or the column, or it is also sometimes called gigantocellular zone. Giant size, big size, gigantocellular zone or the column is also another type of the large pyramidal shape of the cells. They are pyramidal shape, big cells, and they form a longitudinal cranio to caudal column, and which is labeled as the medial. This was median. This is called the medial reticular zone or the column. So it is medial in position. Because of their anatomical position, in the mutual position, median, medial, and third is the lateral reticular zone or the column. The lateral most placed column or the zone of the reticular nuclear or reticular cells, they are small cell. And because they are small cell, they are called the parvocellular zone or the column. Parvo means small. Parvo-olivary tract we have done in the cerebellum. Parvo means small cell. So these type of the cells, they have been researched and found constituting the three columns, longitudinally placed, mostly in the brainstem, in the upper part of the cervical region. So how we can show by the diagram? So all these nuclei, they are situated dorsally. They are dorsal in position. They are not ventrally, they are not in the middle of the brainstem, they are present in the dorsal aspect. So we have to make the dorsal aspect of the brainstem, that is the midbrain, pons and medulla, if we want to attempt the question of the reticular formation if comes. So midbrain has got tectum part. Tectum means dorsal part of the midbrain has got corpora quadrigemina, that is the superior colliculus and inferior colliculus with the brachium on the lateral side. This is the superior colliculus is larger in size, always make big one, and inferior they are smaller in size. So this is the smallest part of the brain, that is the midbrain, 1 inch long and 1 inch broad, and it has got the narrowest part of the ventricular system as well, cerebral aqueduct, which connects the third ventricle with the fourth ventricle. So 1 inch long and 1 inch broad is this. So this diagram is very, very important. Everybody should make in your copy full page. All the four colliculi, they are made up of gray matter. So any part you are making the diagram of the brain, you should know every part of the brain is made up of the gray and white matter, whether it is forebrain, midbrain or hindbrain. So while you are making it, you should know what you are making. Superior colliculus, inferior colliculus, they are made up of gray matter. Cells, body, what is gray matter? Gray matter means a simple neuron, a nerve cell. The basic concept of the nervous system, that is the cell body with the dendrites. These dendrites, they are mainly afferent. They are receiving the impulses from other parts of the CNS. So when I say gray matter means I am talking about the cell body with the nucleus, with cytoplasm, with the dendrites and all the organelles. So this is constituting what is called the nuclei or the gray matter of the brain. The cell body with nucleus, with the cytoplasm, with all organelle and dendrites, this forms the gray matter, or whenever we say sometime nuclei of the nervous system. So that is meaning. If we say white matter, means we are talking about the long process of the neuron. That is the axon, or what is called the nerve fiber, which is the long protoplasmic extension of the neuron, the cell body. That is labeled as the axon, myelinated or maybe non-myelinated, with axon terminals or the buttons, which contains neurotransmitters, and depending upon the synapses they go into the post-synaptic gutter with esterase enzymes which destroy them after the response. So that is the basic unit of the what is talking about the nervous system, the gray and the white matter. So superior and inferior colliculus, they are made up of the gray matter. And function of superior, I have told you, S for S. S for sight. Connection is vision. And what is the function of inferior colliculus? Hearing. That you have to remember. S for sight, inferior is hearing. And they are separated by a cruciform sulcus. Cruciate, which is crossing it. This is called cruciform sulcus. And this bundle which comes out of the superior and the inferior colliculus, they are the white fibers. They are the axons, afferent or efferent, from the gray matter. So they are called the brachium of superior colliculus and brachium of inferior. The word brachium we have taken from upper limb. What is the anatomical name of the arm? Brachium. And what is the anatomical name of the forearm? Antebrachium. And what is the anatomical name of the hand? Manus. So these are given in the first 10 pages of the corpora quadrigemina of the dorsal surface of the midbrain, just above the superior colliculi. Here lies the, you have to make the diagram of epiphysis cerebri. This is the epiphysis cerebri. What is the other name of epiphysis cerebri? Epiphysis cerebri, as the pituitary gland, the other name is hypophysis cerebri. And this is the third eye. It is also called third eye or the epiphysis cerebri. Third eye. Epiphysis cerebri. And the third name is pineal gland. It is also called the pineal gland. Why it is called third eye? Because of the photoreceptor cells. These cells of the cytoplasm of these cells present in the pineal gland has got the affinity to stimulated by the sun rays. So it is also concerned with the arousal phenomena. Then just below the inferior colliculus, the fourth nerve, which is the special nerve, you have to make like this, crossing. Fourth nerve. So fourth nerve has got three specialty. Number one, it is the thinnest cranial nerve, the trochlear. Number two, it has got crossed fibers. The gray matter of the right nerve lies on left and vice versa. Third specialty, it is the only cranial nerve from 12 pairs out of 12. It is the only cranial nerve which arises from dorsal aspect. All other pairs of the cranial nerve, they all arise from the ventral surface of the brain. But you have to remember three specialty. Anybody ask you about the trochlear nerve. Then below the inferior colliculus, there is a bundle of the white fibers which is going downward and laterally and entered into the cerebellum. It has got the medial border and a lateral border. This is this bundle of the white fibers. coming from the midbrain and going into cerebellum, or in other words, midbrain is connected to the cerebellum with the help of this bundle of fibers, is called superior cerebellar peduncle. This is called superior cerebellar peduncle. The medial border in the upper part, just below the midbrain, it joins together, and the medial upper part is connected by a thin sheet of the white matter which blocks the roof of the fourth ventricle. Is called the superior medullary velum. This is how to make the superior medullary velum. If we remove this small part, CSF will be leaked out. So it lies very near to the median aperture of the fourth ventricle. That is called the foramen of the Magendie. M for medial, M for Magendie. Lateral two openings there for lateral called the foramen of Luschka. L for Luschka, L for lateral. That you have to remember. M for Magendie and L for Luschka. गोरियां दे नाम रखने पैने तुहानू. Magendie and Luschka. So this is the medial border. So this is the dorsal surface of the pons. So pons start from here, pons end here. So this was the midbrain, 1 inch long and 1 inch broad, and this is the pons. So this is how to make the floor of the fourth ventricle, or what is called the dorsal aspect of the brain stem. So this diagram comes in many questions. So you have to good practice of this. Each and everything you have to make and label. So these are the brachium. So from superior and inferior colliculus, so they look like the brachium or the arm-like sensation. That's why they are called the brachium. They appear like the arm of the upper limb. Then there is a median sulcus, posterior median sulcus, which ends at the, where it ends, obex. Obex is like a tip of the fountain pen, nib of the fountain pen, like, so the word obex means. Obex is the part, is very important for a neurosurgeon, because from here the open part and this closed part of the medulla start, and the central canal of the spinal cord, it starts here from the middle of the medulla. So this is the another. From the pons, a bundle also goes to cerebellum, and that bundle from the pons which goes is called the middle cerebellar peduncle. This is how you make the middle cerebellar peduncle. So here, this is the diagram after removing the cerebellum. Then only you can see the brainstem's dorsal surface. After removal and cutting 3 peduncles, superior, middle and inferior 3 peduncles, they are connecting the brainstem, midbrain, pons and medulla. If you cut these 3 peduncles, cerebellum is not the part of the brain. Only connection of the cerebellum to the brain is these 3 peduncles. So they contain afferent and efferent pathways. Then the lower part is the medulla, and from the obex it forms the what is called, and there is a external arcuate fibers, stria medullaris. So upper is the pons, below this is the medulla. The open part above the opex is this is the open part of the medulla, and below this is the closed part. And where the brain ends, or where the medulla ends, at the upper border of the atlas C1, and the spinal cord starts here. So this is the basic diagram. So this is the part of the midbrain or the medulla, and this lateral part of the medulla, it also goes into cerebellum. So this lateral part of the medulla is called inferior cerebellar peduncle. So this is the inferior cerebellar peduncle. And here in the floor, here we find this is the hypoglossal triangle, and below here there is a vagal, dorsal nucleus of the vagal triangle. So hypoglossal triangle and vagal triangle, below they are made up of gray matter. Peduncles, they are made up of white matter. Then above here on the either side, there are present facial colliculus. Facial colliculus. So facial colliculus, they are made up of both gray matter and white matter. So if you dissect and cut the facial colliculus, below this you will find gray matter of the sixth or the abducent nerve, on which the fibers or the white matter of seventh. So fibers, they are passing above the nucleus of the abducent. So they are mixture of both gray and white matter. Anybody asks you what is facial colliculus? Name is facial colliculus, but fibers are facial and below is the nucleus of abducent. So this is the best example of the neurobiotexis. 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 That during development there is a shifting of the nuclei, and due to which this phenomena happens, that the fibers, they jump over the other nuclei which are neighboring present here. So this is how you have to make the basic diagram of the dorsal surface of the floor of the fourth ventricle. And from the spinal cord, what is coming up? Medially fasciculus gracilis and laterally fasciculus cuneatus, and where they are ending into gray matter. Fasciculus gracilis and cuneatus, they are made up of white matter, and where they are ending into the gracile tubercle and cuneate tubercle, which are made up of gray matter. So they are made up of the gray matter. So this is how you have to make this diagram many times whenever the question of the floor of fourth ventricle comes, or fourth ventricle comes, or the brainstem comes. So in this, so this is the dorsal surface. So all these cells, they are present on the dorsal aspect. How we show? By the different colors. So near the midline lies the median raphe, or the A type of the cells. So they are situated here. They are present and they go to the spinal cord, the cervical part. So they are called the intermediate cells. So they are also present in the midbrain and in the pons and in the medulla, and also go to the, but they are near the midline, so they are called the median raphe nuclei of radicular formation. Then just lateral to it lies the medial radicular formation. So medial radicular formation, they are also present in the pons, and they are also present in the medulla part. Third is the lateral parvo. So they form the lateral radicular formation nuclei. So they are present just when we dissect this part. When we remove the upper layers of the gray matter or white matter here, below this we find these type of nuclei. And all these nuclei, they are having white matter afferent as well as efferent. And they are all polysynaptic, I have already told you. So all the connections of all these nuclei, they are polysynaptic. Polysynaptic means the axons arising from them, they go ascend upward, or they descend downward, or they go to the other part. So they are having crossed and uncrossed both fibers. So both crossed and uncrossed, that is meaning of what is called the polysynaptic. And because of this, stimulation of the radicular formation of the one side will give the bilateral response. So there is a bilateral response of the stimulation of all the nuclei. If unilateral stimulation, same is present on this. So it is bilateral symmetrical, and response is also bilateral. So this has the morphological classification. Other is the functional classification. And the basis of the functional classification is because of the function. So there are two types of the function. One is called sensory, other is the motor, because of their connections. So A and B, magnocellular and the intermediate or raphe cell, they are mainly motor in function. The lateral reticular formation, it is mainly the sensory in function. Their sensory function means they receive the sensation impulses and then they convey to them. So this is how to remove. Both these are the medial, they are the motor. M for M, again medial two are the motor and lateral is the sensory in function. And depending on the neurotransmitters, so there are serotogenic, neurons of the reticular formation. They are mainly the A type of the cells. So serotonin is a neurotransmitter. What is the other name of serotonin? 5-hydroxytryptamine. So that is released under the axon terminals of these Raphe nucleus. Another is cholinergic. And the serotogenic, they are inhibitory in function. Inhibition in function. And these axons from the median Raphe, they go to the frontal cortex, Purkinje area of the cerebrum. Frontal. So they inhibit the frontal area. And Purkinje area is for the personality, reasoning, emotional behavior, memory and judgment. So cerebrum is the conscious level of the brain. But when they are stimulated, these median type of the cells, then what will happen? They inhibit the Purkinje area. So memory will be down, everything will go down, inhibition, and patient go into sleep. Because there is no judgment making capability, personality will be lost, no memory. So patient is having low consciousness or unconsciousness or altered consciousness. So he is almost into the sleeping position when the frontal area or Purkinje area is depressed by the release of serotonin, the axon terminal starting from median Raphe. Other is cholinergic, mean acetylcholine. So acetylcholine is released and they are mainly the gigantocellular, median group, the neurotransmitter. Third is adrenergic. Adrenergic means adrenaline and noradrenaline, or what is called dopamine, derivative of this biochemistry metabolism. So they are third type of the neurotransmitter found in the reticular formation axon terminals, and they are mainly present in the basal ganglia, in substantia nigra. So different type of the neurotransmitter has been found in the different group of this. So there is another classification of them. Now comes the last part, that is the functions. What are their functions? Or what is called the applied anatomy of the reticular system, whenever they are having multifold functions. So main function of this comes from the motor response, that is called the somatic motor system. So reticular formation, they form the somatic motor system. So all the skeletal muscles, they are also under the effect of the reticular formation, as it is due to its different type of the cells. Motor means medial and the median type of the stimulation of these two type of the cells of the reticular formation, they give the somatic response. And these somatic response, they are called the motor in function. So arousal is there. So first is the tone of the muscles. So tone of the muscles, they are maintained by these cells, because we know there are descending fibers from here. They are called the reticulospinal. So reticulospinal fibers, they start from these two type of the medial group and reticulospinal. So they go down to the spinal cord. We have done the spinal cord and we know the sensory horn is dorsal and motor horn lies in the ventral part of the spinal cord. So what is the concept of this? So this medial, and there are two types of the reticulospinal tracts, medial and lateral. Reticulospinal. So these fibers which are descending through these tracts, they influences the ventral horn cells. We know it is the motor nerve which is coming out of the spinal, 31 pairs of spinal nerve. So cells from here, it goes like this. And these cells, they go along with the neurons, with the motor fibers. And M for M, where the motor nerve will end? Into the muscle. Along with this, the reticular formation cells, neurons, they also accompany. The motor neurons, they cause the contraction of the muscle, while these fibers which are accompanying the motor fibers, they maintain the tone of the muscle. So through the motor nerve, the reticulospinal fibers, they reach the muscles and they maintain the tone. Then the lateral cord, so there are two types of the, we have done lateral and medial. So medial go to the motor and the lateral goes to the sympathetic and parasympathetic system, which has got the lateral horn. So this lateral horn cells, they are influenced by this. So reticulospinal fibers, they go to the lateral horn. And what is the function of the lateral horn? Sympathetic and parasympathetic. So in this way, this reticular formation, they influences the autonomic nervous system. That is one of the function of reticular formation. As stimulation in the heart causes the increased blood pressure and the pulse, and depression of this or inhibition of this causes the opposite, the parasympathetic response. So that is how we have to see the reticulospinal. Similarly, from the spinal cord, the fibers, they are going up to the reticular formation. And what is the name? Spino-reticular. So spino-reticular tracts are also present in the anterior column. So they are going from the spinal cord to the reticular formation. So they are called the ascending type of the ascending reticular activating system. Ascending reticular so these fibers which are going upward, they are sensory, which we know in the sensory, in the spinal cord, anything which is going upward is sensory and down is the motor in function. So these fibers which are going in the upward portion, they are called the ascending type of the fibers, and they are sensory, so they contain the sensations. So sensations, they come from this lateral reticulospinal fibers. They also goes to the posterior horn, and this is the substantia gelatinosa of Rolando. So few fibers, they also goes to the posterior horn from the lateral part. The medial part, they go to the motor. The lateral goes to the, all type of the sensation we know come from the posterior horn. So all the pain sensations, they reach from the spinothalamic to the posterior horn, and here are present the axons of the reticular system. So they will inhibit the pain sensations, or they will modify the pain sensation, because they are the influencing them. So which are going upward is called the ascending type of the reticular activating system. So they activate the reticular formation. So that's why they are called the AR and AS. So they activate the upward. So all these sensory responses, sensations, they are reaching here, and they going to the upward part, maybe cross and cross. So this is the somatic type of the motor system, responsible for the muscle contraction and the tone of the muscles, and they are connected to the, first of all, the spinal cord. Then second, there are also the motor nuclei of the cranial nerve. They are present in the brainstem. So they are called the cranial motor nerve nuclei, So reticular formation is also connected because it is lying already in the brainstem. Which part which goes downward is the spinal part. We have done the reticulospinal and the spino-reticular. So these are present near the nuclei of the motor nuclei which are scattered in the brainstem. As for example, in the superior colliculus level, which nucleus lies? Third, oculomotor. In the pons, what lies here? Seventh nerve nucleus, facial. Then fifth, trigeminal is the motor. Seventh is also the facial. Then at the level of the medulla, here lies the nucleus ambiguous. And nucleus ambiguous, what is the function of the nucleus ambiguous? And nucleus tractus solitarius. So nucleus ambiguous is connected to the 9th, 10th and 11th nerve. 9th, 10th and 11th, they are connected to the nucleus ambiguous, which is nearby the reticular formation. So they are the motor cranial nerve nuclei. And the last cranial nerve nucleus is the hypoglossal. It lies also very near to it. The dorsal nucleus of the vagal triangle is here, the vagus nucleus, the 10th nucleus lies over there. So all are present here. So the reticular formation axons, they influence on the motor cranial nerve nuclei and they coordinate them. The skeletal muscles of the human body. So the coordination is also under the effect of the reticular formation. For example, we are eating the food. So while we are eating the food, just see what is happening. First, chewing of the food. The muscles of mastication is working. And who supplies the muscles of the mastication? Mandibular branch of trigeminal, situated here. Then when we chew, our lips move. When our lips move, who is supplying the muscles of the, which muscle lies in the lips? Buccinator. What is nerve supply of buccinator? Facial nerve. It is lying 7th nerve, connected. So this is the orofacial coordination. Chewing the food involves the 7th nerve, the 5th nerve, and last cranial nerve, hypoglossal. Tongue is supplying by, muscles of tongue are supplied by hypoglossal. So while we are chewing the food, our tongue is also moving. So all these are the motor cranial nerve nuclei. They are attached to the skeletal muscles. That's why it is called the somatic motor system. So this is the best example how these three nerves are connected to the reticular formation. So reticular formation help in the taking our food. If it is damaged, we will die. We can't take the food. So that is the importance or the function of what is called the reticular formation. Then vagus nerve. Vagus nerve is the 10th nerve. And everybody says that it is a parasympathetic nerve. So vagus nerve is also present near the vagal nucleus. It starts from here, below. So vagus nerve is also there. So vagus nerve is influencing our GIT. They are also connected to our respiratory center. Our cardiac center, they are also interconnected. So the fibers from these medial type of the cells, they going to the cerebrum, the Purkinje area, and when it is activated, we are awake. But at the same time, the other fibers which are influencing them or which are depressing them or they are inhibitory. So what happens opposite the awakening? That we feel the drowsy and we go into the sleep. And what is the sleep? It is a reversible unconsciousness state of the human body. Reversible unconscious. Whenever we are sleeping, we are almost unconscious. We don't know what is happening. So this is but it is reversible. We woke up. When we woke up, when the reticular system will stimulate the which fibers? Fibers going to the Purkinje area from the median Raphe cells. So when they are stimulated, everything will be okay and we got up. So that is how the awakening and the inhibition goes on the same prefrontal cortex. The another system is the visceral motor system. The organs, the heart and lungs, how it's regulated by the reticular system. You have done the respiratory system in physiology. You know what is inspiratory nucleus and what is expiratory. You know what is the pneumotoxic center and what is the apneic center. So they are all situated in the medulla. They are all situated in the reticular formation of the medulla here, the medial and the raphe nucleus. So both glossopharyngeal and 10th nerve, they carry the fibers to the cardiac plexus. They also goes to the GIT also. Vagus nerve goes to supply all the smooth muscles of the peristalsis. So they are all interconnected. So they are called the visceral motor activity. The organs, they are under the effect of the lungs, whole of the GIT, and the heart, they are under the effect of the reticular formation. They are situated in the medulla part, the lower part, and the upper lower part of the pons also. So this is how the visceral motor response comes from the various nuclei situated in the medulla part, that is also under the effect of the reticular formation. So the damage of the reticular formation, as I have already said you, that it causes the unconsciousness, prolonged state. If the upper part of the cerebrum, which is the conscious level of the brain, if it is damaged, what we got? Unconsciousness. But still, the stimulation of the skin, moving of the human body, even the unconsciousness is there. Why? Because of the lateral cells. Because the lateral cells, they are influenced by the sensory fibers, which are pain, temperature, pressure and touch. They are controlled from the spinal cord. Spinal cord is okay. Only cerebrum is damaged, leading to the unconsciousness, because Premji area is damaged. Premji area for the awakening. So that is gone, patient is unconscious. But still he is responsive because his spinothalamic tracts are okay. Patient can be aroused. If the patient is sleeping, then patient can be awaked by the sensory fibers which are going into the lateral column, which is functionally sensory. So when a patient is lying down or he is sleeping, then you just prick with the pin, he will be got up. Or you give the pressure. During sleep, the sensory stimulation will cause the arousal phenomena. Why? Because of the lateral reticular formation, which is sensory in function. Then a loud sound, a person is sleeping, so loud sound is also a sensation. So it is going to be arousal phenomena. But except the smell. Smell sensation cannot make the person who is sleeping awake. Otherwise, all these general and the special senses, the sound, loud sound of the hearing, bright light, again patient will get up from the sleep, because of the oculomotor nerve is also a motor nerve. Oculomotor here. So eye is also connected to the reticular formation. So pain, temperature, everything can arouse. So these are called the arousal phenomena. So this is how you have to do the reticular formation.